Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.
We are the nation of domination.
What is up, Eagles Nation? It's your boy Bird Gang 31 in the building. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's day is going well. I brought on my guy, one of the GOATs, Big Shakes, to talk some off-season Eagles football. How you doing today, Shakes?
I'm good, man. I'm taking it day by day. We have a month left till training camp. You know, we're just in the waiting process right now. So we're getting there. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. It's always good to get you on here and talk some Eagles football, man. So we haven't talked in a while. How you like the offseason so far, the pickups, the new acquisitions and whatnot? How you like this team right now going into 23?
I think it's slightly better than last year. I think, you know, when you were slated to have like 11 and 12 free agents on defense and what Howie did in the draft with Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, even getting, you know, a good value in Sidney Brown and getting Tyler Steen, you know, some of the pickups at the running back position with Swift and getting Rashad Penny. And I think they've done a really good job, you know, even coming off of last year, Super Bowl loss. And, you know, there are some questions going to this roster. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but I think there's definitely a lot more that they could do. You have 4 open roster spots right now. Training camp is almost here in a few weeks. And, you know, we'll see what else they do. You know, we just have a few questions, but nothing really that concerning. But
what are your questions, Marsh? To give me a question mark, Shake. What do you think you need to do?
I think one is linebacker. I mean, it's really excluding Nakobe Dean just because you know, I just feel like it's a big question mark with Nicholas Morrow right now. And really behind that, I mean, I don't know what else, you know, I don't know what else is really there besides Davion Taylor and, you know, is Tyron Johnson gonna, you know, play linebacker? You know, I don't know. You know, they didn't draft a linebacker this past year. They didn't, you know what I mean?
A lot of buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's getting a lot of buzz there. But Davion, I don't trust him. He don't stay healthy enough. You know,
right.
He's getting hurt. Every time he does something good, he's out again the next week. So it's like, yeah, you're right, man. I like that linebacker position getting picked up, but only I think if it's going to be a star, like an impact player. Like I feel like the Eagles haven't had a star linebacker since Takil Spites, or, you know, I guess Nigel Bradham was a good kind of semi-star. You know, he went to Pro Bowl, right? But we ain't never had no real big threat at the linebacker position. Like we need like a Ray Lewis style linebacker, like someone that's gonna put fear.
They don't need to get like some like crazy superstar, but at least they need to get somebody that fits the scheme. I mean, that's really what it's about. And I think Nolan Smith is why it's so light at linebacker right now. I feel like Nolan Smith is in the plans at linebacker as well, because obviously with his skill set, his athleticism, and pass coverage, I think that's a whole nother thing that they could really use him instead of just being an edge rusher for the year. I feel like they'll do a lot more with him, so maybe that goes into it a little bit. But I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't mind a trade for Patrick Queen or Isaiah Simmons if that's what you really want to do and add another body. Then great, I mean, I have no issue with it.
I love Queen. I don't know. I would like to get Queen. I feel like he hasn't reached his full potential. And with a defense like ours, with all the talented players he have around him, he'll probably get a chance to, really reach that potential. I know Baltimore's had pretty good defenses too as well, but I don't feel like it's as good as the talent that we have on our football team, of course. So that's one thing we have to look out, see what they're going to actually do. Drew says they're putting Kerryon Johnson as off-ball linebacker. Okay, he was a DM for us. Right. And like you said, I heard him talk about Nolan Smith in the 707s. He was doing pretty good in pass coverage and whatnot and doing things like that. So it is a concern. Like, I don't know. I feel like at this point of the year, we're just trying to find something that we can replace. But I'm pretty sure the second one will be the safety, right? The safety position. Are we sure with these guys? Is Brown, this guy that everybody's hyping him up to be, is Blankenship going to come back and do the same thing he did, last year? Because that was pretty – no one really expected it to happen for him last year, and he came in and lit it up. Kayvon's still on the team. Is he going to do something? Like they're going to use one of these cornerbacks, Greedy Williams, Job, one of these guys, Rick's going to move one of those guys corner. Even a guy like Maddox back to corner. Like, what would you do with that cornerback position? I mean, that's a safety position.
Yeah, I mean, they added a lot of bodies. Like I figured, they added a lot. Like, obviously Sidney Brown in the draft, and like Justin Evans is a veteran guy, but he's hurt every year, and he was a second round pick for Tampa in 2017. Kavon Wallace is just going to probably be just a strict special teamer. He made some plays last year, but I don't think he's starting quality right now. But I think Reed Blankenship is going to do well. I mean, Terrell Edmonds was really the backup plan for Chauncey when he didn't sign that long-term deal. So, I mean, I think he's a nice stopgap player for the Eagles. I feel like Terrell Edmonds is good at run support, and we'll see how he is. You know what I mean? Like I'm very high on Sidney Brown. I think with his coverage is pretty good. His Senior Bowl was really good too. Covering like 4-3 receivers, big tight ends. He's real physical. I mean, he was the Red Star player for the Eagles, from the scouts, that he exemplifies himself on what it is to be a Philadelphia Eagle with his tape study. Just how he studies the game and really just work ethic in general. So, I think it's just a wait and see approach at safety as well as other positions, and to see what they have. And obviously after each training camp day, they'll, everybody will have their meetings and they'll discuss on what's really going on. But I mean, I'm high on Reed Blankenship. I'm high on Sidney Brown, and Terrell Edmonds, we'll see what he could do. So, I think still a little bit of a question, but it's not a bad thing. Like Sean Desai loves the competition, so I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we should wait until like after training camp, or maybe after the first preseason game or something.
We didn't pick up Chauncey until really late, and we trade for him very late. So there's always something out there,
Let these guys, the young guys, go out there and we actually see what we got from them, because that's what it is. It's a bunch of young guys on defense. Got really high expectations. All of us expecting our defense to be better. I think they're going to be better personally. I know a lot of other people think they're going to be better. And it's just like, are they going to be better though? You're taking away a lot of the older vets. You're inserting a bunch of youth there. They're coming from championship organizations, but is it going to transition in the first year? Like, how do you feel about that? And the second part would be like, with the safeties, like, is that really that big of a need when you got a Slay, a Bradbury, and Maddox to worry about, your safety? Because, we've seen what happened with Charlie Gardner-Johnson. Led the league in picks, but then out 4 or 5 games, and we didn't miss a beat. I said the Reed Blankenship became the new star of the football team, and no one even said anything about it. It just kind of transitioned over, because when you got a defensive line getting after the quarterback, you got your cornerbacks locking down the receivers. It's like the job's kind of easy there.
Yeah, right.
So another position, running back. How you feel about that running back position? You know what I'm saying? We got Agent Zero. We got Penny, Gainwell, Scott. How you think the Eagles should work that one out?
I mean, I think when it comes to like, obviously, I was on the Bijan train for a while.
Me too. Bijan.
But I had Carter as my obviously my second best on the board, obviously behind Will Anderson. So I was happy with that. So I just wanted them to add another running back. I knew they weren't paying Miles Sanders. He was getting paid $6 million a year. They could have afforded it, but Miles only had like really, I think his really only good 2 years were like his rookie year and his last year really here, theoretically, because he was dealing with drops. He was dealing with, fumbles over the years, injuries, especially. And that was another thing. Getting Penny at $600,000 for the year. I mean, it's not a bad move. It's a good move. You know what I mean? It's a what if. It's a if they could stay healthy. If you have Rashad Penny staying healthy, you can run between the tackles really well. I mean, I would use Rashad Penny as a finisher, like kind of like a hefty back finisher, run through the tackles, tire out defenses. You do. I mean, the amount of damage he's done on us over the years has been kind of crazy. Swift is just. I mean, you give up. I mean, the third day of the draft is usually that day in motion where it's the longest draft is the third day. You go through it, you go through the motions, but the Eagles, end up getting Keely Ringo. They move up aggressively for him right at the beginning of the draft, and then really they trade for DeAndre Swift for a 25 fourth round pick, which is they got him for free. They got him for absolutely nothing. I think what you're going to get from Swift is he's going to be the focal back most likely. And Brian Johnson's interesting because even the last time when he was a offensive corner was at Florida, and he did he got the running backs heavily involved in his offense in the passing game. And that's one thing I really need badly is these running backs to get into the passing game as well. And I'm telling you, with DeAndre Swift, his elite vision is just insane. He can cut on a dime at 100% speed. It's just Miles Sanders. You're going to forget about Miles Sanders after. You're going to forget about Miles Sanders after you see these guys at 100%. If these guys can stay 100% healthy all year, it's going to be dangerous. That really, because DeAndre Swift hasn't really played with a mobile quarterback since high school. I mean, it's been a long time. So that read option RPO is going to be. It's gonna be nuts, dude. Like it's gonna be really dangerous. No joke.
I want to say that just seeing a little bit I've seen of Swift, man. Like I said, it sold me when I went back because I was like, okay, let's see Swift. He's over there in Detroit. I don't really watch too much of him like that. I'd seen what he did against us and whatnot, and I was like, okay, let's check it out. And I went back on that video where he was when he was recruiting, and he was gonna say he's gonna go to Georgia or whatever, and you see him run through the city. And everybody, he was already famous then, like big time in Philadelphia then, where he had like the whole city following him. He's running, and I was like, dang, I didn't even know he was like that big of a part of Philadelphia. And to have him back home with his Georgia Bulldog family and his Eagle family, man, I think if he stays healthy, we're definitely going to forget all about him because he has the opportunity to have a mega year here, with Jalen Hurts holding linebackers. He's never had that before. Like we said, like he's going to be wide open. I went over a lot of Booby's runs last year. And a lot of those runs, it was pretty wide open for him. It wasn't too much having to do anything but run forward. At the end of the day, we got the best line in football. So I think if he stays healthy, he's going to definitely take care of it. He will be a Pro Bowler, and he might even be one of those first team All Pros too. You know what I'm saying? And that's high to say because I think he has all the talent skills. Like he can catch, he can run, he's a power back too, kind of. I've seen him run people over before. He's not a little guy. So I really think he should get the bulk of the carries. You got to sprinkle in Gainwell just the way you've been sprinkling on, man. Obviously, he wasn't big enough, to be our star running back or featured back. So you still do what you do with him, what you did with him over the last 3 years because what you've done, he's been very productive at doing, coming in when everybody's tired and having that quick burst off the sideline where he comes in and makes a couple catches. He's always scoring touchdowns, so just keep him doing this role. Boston Scott, I think we're keeping him for a special team. I wouldn't mind seeing Boston Scott's return kicks again next year. He didn't do that bad. He actually made our kick return a lot better when he came in. So he can do the kick return, and that just leaves Penny, like you said, it's just third down, third quarterback. You're rotating in to keep pounding on the defense, man. So, yeah, I think we got a really good room for sure. It might be one of the best rooms. It reminds me of the J.I. Jai, LeGarrette Blunt room we had that year with Corey Clement. So it's very promising, very promising.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I think I think Miles, I think really since Nick got here, I think Miles was just underutilized. I think he could have done a lot more. I don't know if it was a trust factor, I don't know why they trusted Gainwell more than Miles. I think Miles just had a better skill set, unveiled, but I think with Gainwell, I mean, he's getting better every single year. He doesn't have this special running skill set, but usually if he's in open space one-on-ones 9 out of 10 times, he's going to make the guy miss. He's going to, Gainwell does great. I mean, I just didn't think with Gainwell here, it was just going to be enough if they didn't add another running back. Boston Scott and Gainwell it just wasn't enough. They had to add a couple more guys, and they did. And low risk, high reward moves. I mean, maybe Swift is less injury prone than Penny is, but keeping both these guys heavy, healthy and distributing the carries a little bit better. And I think you'll be fine. I think it's between these receivers, the offensive line, the tight ends, and Jalen Hurts extending plays, and defenses are going to be on their heels, like with that distribution. It's going to be insane. And I think Swift can get 1,000 yards. I really do. I think both of them can get that. I think both of them can get maybe not the same year, but I think if one of them's healthy, I think they can get 1,000 yards. Yeah,
that's tight. I like it, and I think Miles almost had 13. I think he can beat that this year. And that's gonna change it up. With Jalen Hurts numbers, like everybody's still wanting Jalen to do more, man. Still wanting Jalen to do more. He hasn't proved it yet. He's not there yet. What are you talking about? He doesn't need to throw the ball that much, man. We got a great line. We got great, good running backs. It's like you're saving him for the long term. People act like throwing the ball too much doesn't throw out arms and stuff like that. Like I think he's at a good pace where he's at, where he's controlling the run game. He's running free and he's making big plays. And as long as he's making big plays, you gotta let him do it, man. You gotta let him do his thing. How do you feel about Jalen going into this year? I
think he's going to be a lot better this year. I mean, I think his passing game is going to be a lot better. Even seeing some of the throws at OTAs, the spiral looks great. His mechanics look a lot better. I just don't think Jalen's going to get respect regardless. Or really, I mean, even last year, I don't think he got as much respect as the games went on. Maybe a little bit here and there, but it comes down to passing touchdowns, and that's what everybody respects now. And, there's overall touchdowns and there's passing touchdowns. Like Jalen Hurts can have the same overall touchdowns as a really good quarterback, but how many passing touchdowns does he have? A rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown are the same amount of points, and I feel like that, the quarterbacks are changing over the years. Like, quarterbacks are going to win in different ways now, but I think we saw a mix of everything from Jalen Hurts last year. But really going into last year, I said, if Jalen Hurts plays like 20-25% better, I'll be happy, but he played like 90-95% better. So, it was like, holy shit, you know what I mean? So I was kind of shocked over it. And, because I really didn't know what was going to happen. I want to give Jalen Hurts like one more year to prove himself and have an off season with the team and, do some things. But man, he gravitates those players towards him. I mean, even Terrell Edmonds said in his little podcast, like the podcast he had like a week or two ago, he, just watching what Jalen Hurts does in the offense, it's all about trust in the receivers, like just trust between all the players offensively. And when you trust other players, big things happen. And they did last year. You had 2 1,000-yard receivers last year and a 1,000-yard running back. I don't think that's ever happened with the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, at all. So I feel
touchdowns again and rushing the football. He led the league in inside the pocket passing. Big plays down the field, air yards. One of the least turned over quarterback in the league. Like, what more does he have to do? Like, I don't know. I've been on this big rant because everybody's been telling me, who do you when they ask me who I think is the best quarterback. I did my top 10 and I had Jalen number 1. I think he's earned it. He's gotten better every year. I know this is his 4th year now. First year didn't start, 2 regular years, so the 3rd year. Yeah, 4th year. So going into that 4th year, what can improve? What more could you say improve? I don't think he's ever going to be a 5,000-yard passer. Or, let's say extend games, like 3 more games on here. He's never going to be that quarterback. He might not ever be a 4,500-yard quarterback, but it's not because his lack of talent. It's because he's not needed to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's throwing the ball that much, he's probably throwing the ball too much. You know, it's not even in a bad way. It's not saying that he can't handle the pressure throwing the ball, but it takes away the dynamic of our offense. You know, the fact that he can
Right.
run so good and pass so good, that's something that Patty Mahomes, you know, that's something that a lot of Burrow, you know, Allen, none of these guys can do both at such a high level. They might be able to throw a little bit better than Jalen, but they're not doing both at a high level like Jalen. Jalen's elite in both. You know, like that's something that's rare in a quarterback. Usually, you got a good runner that he's decent at passing, but he's not elite at it. You know, you got to work on that. Like Michael Vick, look how many years it took Michael Vick to actually be like considered an elite passer. I think it's when he came to our team, the Eagles. You know, that's when everybody gave him his respect for passing football. You know, you just got it out there where it's like I feel like everybody hasn't even seen like see him do, and they didn't expect him to do what he did last year, and no one's seen it, so they don't even know how to really quantify it. They're like, he still got to show me some more. Do it again. You know, show me some more before I crown on the best quarterback in the league. Now, I'm not saying he has the best career, obviously, you know, but back to back playoffs, you know, a starting quarterback, back to back playoffs, Super Bowl second year. You know, the numbers he put up are phenomenal, and he had a lights out Super Bowl. I think going into this year, I can safely say I like it. Like Patty's a goat. He's a goat. You know, we already know what he can do. We know his ceiling. You know, he's one of the magic mans out there. He can throw a ball behind his back, you know, eyes closed and whatnot. But to me, that's a talent that, yeah, Jalen might not ever be able to do that, you know, but who cares? You know, it is wonderful. It does make him who he is. Andy Reid throws the ball like 60 times a game. Like he threw himself out of Philly, you know, with us. So we already know that that's part of it. And you had Andy Reid your whole career. He handpicked you, you know. Everybody's like, well, Patty's never not went to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl. I'm like, well, you act like that's the first time Andy Reid done coached a team like that. You know, he did
Yeah,
it with
right.
us. 5 straight NFC Championships, 1 Super Bowl. You know, we could have even went to more, you know, without him, you know, a couple of chokes in there, but who cares? It's like, it's the same blueprint. It's the same, you know, answer for me. So it's like Jalen came in with a first year coach, Nick Sirianni, you know, and not to discredit Nick at all. He's great. You know, I love Nick to death. But you can't even like you said, you can't even put him in the same stratosphere as Andy Reid type thing, where you're like, okay, he's had the same opportunities to come be this good, this elite, you know, MVP runner up, a second team All Pro, Pro Bowlers. Like you can't be expecting him to be that good so fast. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
what do you
no, I
rank?
mean it's a different. He's got a different skill set, so I'm not expecting him to have over 5,000 yards. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's you know, you're gonna have a good run game. He's gonna extend plays. He's gonna rush, you know, rush himself. He's gonna have touchdowns. He's gonna have rushing yards. You know, it all comes into effect. So I don't expect really much more. You know, I mean, yeah, he'll probably get a little bit more yards passing. He'll probably have a lot more. You know, he'll have. I could see him getting, you know, 33 to 36 touchdowns this year, probably in that, you know, probably in that area, or maybe you could have more. You never know, depending on the games and what's going on. But no, I've you know, I have no issue with the work ethic and you know what he brings to the table. Even he was questioned like after he got paid, like is he going to be a different player? Is he, you know, stuff like. I think every beat writer asked him like, is this going to change you? Is this, you know, it's like, you know, the money's nice, but championships are better. It was the best quote that
Facts.
you could get, you know.
Facts. So where do you put him? Going into this year, I'm not saying the full career. Going into this year, where's Jalen Hurts on Shake's top 5? Or 10, whichever. I don't know how far down you put him or not, but
I mean, really, I have him right behind Patty Mahomes. I mean, I have him right behind Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I got Josh Allen. I got, you know, Joe Burrow. You know, at least in the top 5 right now. I mean, he's there. I mean, he's right there. It's just the problem is these quarterbacks are criticized on what they have around them. How much does the quarterback actually do percentage wise in a game? You know, like I hate that, because it's like we give Jalen Hurts weapons, and now the weapons are making Jalen Hurts look good, and Jalen Hurts isn't making the weapon. You know, is not making it. You know, it's just annoying. Like it gets annoying to that point. You know, like I have to be biased sometimes, but I know like what I watch every week, and trust me, like last year. I think he has checked the box and everything. I literally, like, we were, you know, as long as he wins with his arm, he's won games. We've been behind, we've been in front. fourth down, third down, crucial. You know what I mean?
Legs,
And
arm, it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. I mean, he's given us everything. Really, like there wasn't one thing that I could say last year that he didn't do that I need to see him do. Is obviously just win a win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's really the only thing I could say. But I can't put that Super Bowl on him. There's no way. I mean, there was a lot more factors that went into that, obviously. But
Who's your favorite Eagles quarterback? Put that. That's one of the poll questions inside of my poll. I put it. Let's see what the poll's looking like. Who's winning this poll? Actually, I want to see that real fast. You guys hit that like, subscribe, big shakes, baby. His link is inside the description. Thankful for that he came back to talk some birds with me here. Let's see here. What is the poll at right now for best quarterback, all-time Eagle quarterback? Jalen Hurts at 50%. Hold on. Jalen Hurts at 50%, Cunningham at 23%, McNabb at 13%, and 13% for other.
yeah.
So what do you rank? Who's your top Eagles quarterback of all time?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't alive, obviously, but like Randall Cunningham, I wish I was alive during those times. Like just the way he extended plays and the flexibility that he had, and just some of these throws that he had, and his how quick he was. Like I've always liked mobile quarterback threats like that, and I've watched videos and videos and videos, and even games that they even have up or what they could put up. And just what he is to the community in Philadelphia and what he represents to the city. Randall Cunningham's one of a kind, man. Like it's definitely my top favorite quarterback in Philadelphia. I wish I was alive to see it, but I wasn't. So
I seen the tail end of Randall's career. I'm kind of over. So I seen the tail end of his career. But yeah, man. Hey, he's the reason why I'm an Eagles fan. Straight up. Watch him early. I was like, wow, I can dig with that. Because I only like watching college football. I thought pro football was too slow. It was always running the football, but no one was really taking that deep shots. But in college, they were airing it out. You had like triple options and stuff like that. So I like that.
Yeah.
I watched Peyton, Brady, all those guys, McNabb, Syracuse, Peyton Manning, Tennessee, like all those guys back in the day. And, I would have to say, I remember just turning on TV. My dad was like, why don't you watch pro football, man? I'm like, because it's too slow for me, Dad. I can't deal with it. It's too slow. And he like watched the Eagles, and it was the Eagles. I think it was that game. I think against Cowboys. Where he got hit and stayed up and threw that touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Like, and from that day on, like we have always had a good defense too. Even when our offense sucked, we kind of always had a good defense that kept us in football games. So I was like, this is my team. This is the Eagles. I'm gonna be the Eagles fan. And that was my first pro team.
When you talk about like someone putting like their stamp in Philadelphia, like Jalen Hurts puts his stamp here. Like I've never seen the most like professional, most professional, just his work ethic and the amount. It's just amazing. Like because most quarterbacks that what he went through in college like wouldn't even last in the NFL. Wouldn't even last. Obviously, getting benched in Alabama, and just supporting, Tua in a championship game, and like everyone's like, oh, well, you didn't play, and you didn't win the game. It's like, who cares? I'm supporting my teammate. Like, it wasn't even on his mind. And then really just putting his stamp in Oklahoma, and winning a championship over there, just always challenging himself every single year. You're not going to get. I mean, most quarterbacks talk the talk. And say all these things like Jalen Hurts says in certain ways, but at the end of the day, you have to prove it on the field. Really going into last year, I'm like, if his work ethic could, can match his play, then yeah, I'm going to believe it. Like there's no tomorrow. And,
they one Super Bowl win, Jalen goes to the top of the list.
Yeah. I'm not going to take anything away from Nick Foles. I'm not going to take anything away from him. And the rest of the team, because that was just a full team effort. That wasn't one guy. That was everybody from first to third string. That was everybody all season. So everybody had a goal
for us too. If you think about it, his career might not have been that great, but anytime he played for the Eagles, he played pretty good.
Successful.
Very successful. Won a lot of football games. Well, he broke the record, 7 touchdown game. I was actually there at that one. Nick he won the Super Bowl for us, goddammit. He went toe to toe with the GOAT and came out on top, So that alone, man, Nick Foles is always going to be getting free cheesesteaks in Philly for sure. Like that guy is pretty awesome. But yeah, I have to agree. Like Randall was my favorite. McNabb was my favorite till he did what he did in the Super Bowl, and I don't like him anymore. And well, I still respect him, but you know what he did for us. But he's not on my fan list right now. And then Jalen Hurts, man, he's creeping up that board pretty fast. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to overshoot it, but I kind of gotta say he's definitely top 2 right now for me. Like he jumped McNabb already. He jumped all those other guys, Viggs.
It's a fast progression. Like it's just it happens so quick. Like I didn't expect it to happen this fast, like at all. Like, but it did. So.
Yeah, McNabb gave me much hope and pain. Yeah, exactly. So, what about our receivers, man? I seen your video. You're talking about the third string receiver. Is it Quez's job to lose? Or do you think Quez already lost it?
I don't care who's I don't care if Nick protects him or you got to show up. I mean, you could do. I mean, words are words at the end of the day. So I mean, they didn't bring in Zacchaeus because They didn't bring in Zacchaeus just to be a backup. They probably brought him in to really compete. Like I feel like they like Quez a lot, and it's not like Quez had like a bad year last year compared to other years that we've had with receivers. But I mean, we hold this receiver room to a high standard right now, and with Quez, it was just. You ended up, they were using him okay in the beginning of the year. And then really after that Pittsburgh game, he apparently at the end, the end of last year, he had like a grade 2 shoulder sprain for a while. And they started using more Zach Pascal, more double tie and sets because, Goddard ended up getting hurt and all that stuff happened. And they gave Quez a lot of confidence or try to put much confidence in him in the Super Bowl and really give him one of the biggest throws that he could, really come with. And went right through his hands. And I felt like that position all year has been just, there are times where I think wide receiver 3 is one of the worst positions because you're not a focal point of the offense. You're really not, because it's really AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. And, if Jalen Hurts extending plays, you got to be on point. You have to aggressively get to the football and you have to be ready because your opportunity might show up. And there are times where he was open and he wasn't paying attention on some of these throws that were going towards him, and he couldn't, he just wasn't paying attention at times. The fumble at Washington, he came back after that Washington game after that really good catch, when he got back up and fumbled it. So after that game, I thought in the Colts game he scored, that was off the bye week. And then, I thought he got better, but then, they just kind of phased him out a little bit, maybe because of the injury or something like that. But I think there is a competition there. And I think when you have a guy like Zacchaeus that had the best season he had last year with the Falcons, a really crappy offense last year with them, over 500 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he played pretty good, and he's a pure slot. I think he's the same weight as Quez. He's just a little bit smaller, and he has that burn ability as well. So he could definitely burn people, no doubt. So we'll see.
I think it's Quez. What really got me was, he didn't do like Rager did, but he kind of told you it was like the same reason. He's like, hey, I tell people you got to look at it as a football player. You play football, you're trying to be. His first year, he didn't get the ball thrown to him that much. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't very good. I think he got hurt that year, right? And then the second year, you're like the number 2 receiver on the squad. You're 700 yards, close to 70 yards receiving. You're looking like you're promising your career's going in the right direction. And then you go get an AJ Brown. Goddard's great. Devontae Smith's great. And it's like now you don't pay the back burner. Now you're getting your options cut down in half after, feeling like you could possibly do something big. And he came out and said it. He's mentally distracted, on and off the football field last year. And as he's going to get better. And the fact that he was able to come out, and really admit it and talk about it and say that you guys will regret what the hell you're talking about me. You know what I'm saying? You're going to eat your words because I'm about to.
And I like that
with my opportunity. So
yeah, I like that he did that.
I'm on Quez, man. I'm on Team Quez. I know Zacchaeus, he's cool, whatever, but and if Quez not there, it's good that we have someone there that could step in that role. But I want Quez to be that guy because I think he can bring a whole nother element to the team too if he is on point. Like imagine he makes all those catches last year. So 3 drops, he don't drop. He makes the play. Now you're talking about boom. You know what I'm saying? We're loving Quez. He's like one of the best play receivers on our team right now. He's fast Batman, goddammit.
Oh yeah.
You gotta stay focused for like what four opportunities a game and make the most because he can be one of those guys that can take it to the house.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to like see someone else rise up. Like, I'm not going to put anything on an undrafted free agent like Jaden Hazelwood or guys that play with Jalen Hurts. Jason Hazelwood played with him at Oklahoma. Charleston Rambo is made the tryout. He played with him at Oklahoma as well. So, Joseph Nagata from Clemson, they paid him the most money as a undrafted free agent, $200,000. But they do that every year. You know what I mean? So the Eagles have done pretty good in the undrafted pool over the years. They've done pretty well. I mean, TJ Edwards was one, Jack Stahl was one, I mean, like become, that can contribute. That's great. But I'm not going to put too much on these other receivers coming in. If someone surprises me, then yeah, great. That's awesome. Devin Allen, hasn't, I mean, I wish they've given him more of a chance. Really not at receiver, more at punt returner. Just seeing what he's got at kick return or something like that. I mean, the guy's got really good speed, and then you got Britton Covey that will probably never
on track too much. And that's not a football body. Like, you got to decide what you want to do. You want to be a football player or you want to continue your track career?
He's got the speed. Like, it's a problem. Like, you can have all the speed. Like, it doesn't matter if you have all that speed. If you can't run routes, you can't catch the football, you can't track the. Shelton Gibson was probably like a really like perfect example of that. Guy had all the speed in the world from West Virginia, but then he couldn't catch. He couldn't. There was just a lot of issues. So I think Devin Allen is better than that. I think he could actually do a lot more. It's just all about really opportunity,
Yeah. I think give him a shot at punt return this year. Yeah. I'm not that huge on Covey. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's one move I would say. They say if there's a move right now you would make, if there's a burner somewhere. I was really big on getting Patterson from Atlanta because I knew we needed a running back fix. He's a receiver, and he was like one of the best, returners in the game. Like, he was a free agent. I knew Atlanta wasn't gonna let him go, but that's what I really wanted to get was Patterson.
Well,
gave him
another opportunity. Another opportunity they're gonna have is in August, because the new rule this year is that they have to cut the roster down to 90 to 53 in one day. One day they have to cut the roster 90 to 53. So. Bad thing about it is for us is that if we let go of a player that we like and it's going to be a tough decision, he's going to go to another team. But that's a good thing for us because there'll be a lot of players coming off waivers by that time. And there could be a guy that's maybe a speedster or a guy that's just maybe another tough decision for another team that gets let go of and the Eagles can claim him or, whatever. So I think there's they can always pick somebody up, at that moment. I mean, I know for at least the punt returns, I know even for OTAs, just for OTAs in general, because we're not in full pads yet, but, they had obviously Covey, they had Quez Watkins, Zacchaeus was there too, which is interesting. I'm not really a big fan of Boston Scott and kick returns too much. I don't know. Maybe it's just the blocking scheme or something, even punt returns for some of the blocking scheme. There was a lot of times where Covey had no room to run this year, but there were times where Covey was he's too raw of a player, man. He's an undrafted free agent. How much was I supposed to put into Covey? And, Covey wasn't a second round pick or something like that. You know what I mean? So I can't put too much into Covey right now, but obviously going into a whole nother offseason, whole nother year. I just wish during the year they would have at least tried Devin Allen out one time for one game. I mean, they brought up Covey up because once you bring a guy up 3 times, that's it. You got to keep him on the roster. They brought him up 3 times, and that's the rules. So, they had to keep him on the active roster at that point. So, it's good and bad. I think obviously punter is going to have to change as well. I mean, hopefully that Tyler Zentner, Legatron can kick 60-something yards.
Legatron,
yeah.
He got a nice highlight reel. That guy's pretty good there. I heard he's like booming them, but he's not accurate as they thought he would be. But the fact, I think we should just try and climb over sit post, and the fact that if anything were to ever happen to Elliott, you still got a kicker on your team. He can kick field goals too, so then we need to go ahead and train that guy up. But I remember Hitman said earlier in the show, what would be a surprise cut? Who do you think would be someone on our team that no one would expect to get cut, during that big cut drop? That does get cut, though.
I don't know. Surprise cut. I honestly don't know, to be honest. I mean, you can say anybody's name, but realistically,
like, what do you think?
I don't know.
What happened if it was like a Boston Scott surprise cut, or even they realized, okay, we're gonna give Boston a little bit more carries, and we let go of Penny since he was so cheap, or even like I don't know who else would be a surprise cut. You surprise cut Jack Driscoll out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Those would probably be some surprise.
Yeah,
cuts.
I mean, Driscoll is not great, but he's a okay right guard. He's not a right tackle anymore, but he's a better right guard right now.
No.
But, no,
I mean, interesting, man. I like it. I like the way our roster's set up right now.
yeah.
And I feel like the low points, it's like, is it really that bad? Like they got great players around them. Who you think gonna win that center battle? I mean, that right guard battle between Jurgens and Steen.
I think it's going to be Jurgens. I
Yeah.
do. I'm not saying Tyler Steen's bad because Tyler Steen could play left tackle, right tackle, and he has the physicality to play right guard. I think Tyler Steen will be our future right tackle. I think for Lane. I think that's what's going to happen after a couple years. So you have a guy that can play both sides at least, which is good. I think from a standpoint of really because really, if you remember last offseason, Jurgens was supposed to play a lot of right guard last offseason, but when Kelsey had the orthoscopic surgery in his elbow and then he stayed out the whole entire offseason, it forced Jurgens to play center, which is good. You know what I mean? Because you never know when Kelsey's going to have to, come out of a game or, if he retires, which, we didn't know what was going to happen. I felt like if we did win the Super Bowl last year, then I think he would have retired. I think Jurgens is going to, I don't know, man, because just be careful because you put Jurgens at right guard and he's that good, then I gotta go find another guy. Dickerson the same way.
People forget that was Landon. Landon was Kelsey's replacement.
Yeah,
we have what we got him, but then now he's an all-pro left guard. Okay.
It was funny because Dickerson. What was it when he got drafted that year? So, yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was the 49ers home opener. I was at the game, and I remember Dickerson was playing right guard when Brandon Brooks went out. And he went in and he didn't really play well. And I think he had a little bit of an injury too from that game. They put him at left guard and that was really it. I mean, he just they couldn't stop. I mean, Pro Bowler, man. I mean, already Jeff Stalin is anything what Jeff Stalin does, I can't say no.
Right?
I can't.
We got him. We got Steen. Who knows? Steen might be our future right tackle after Lane leaves or something. Like you never know with Stout, and the Eagles always going to draft someone good. Keep adding to this offensive line throughout the year. So, like you said, that could be the problem. Or Steen could be good enough next year. That when Kelsey leaves, you slide him over, Jurgensen over to guard. They put Steen in there with Lane for like the last year or two.
Yeah, even Trevor Reed, the undrafted free agent Trevor Reed from Louisville, he was another guy that only had he played left tackle. He only on 300, it was like 328, 335 pass blocking attempts. He only gave up 3 sacks. I mean, he's another guy that's been as a pass block. I don't know how his run game is, but his pass blocking is pretty good. And it's another guy. He might make the roster just because we really don't have depth at offensive line too much right now. I mean, you have Driscoll, you have Steen, you have Jurgens right now. You have a few guys, but I feel like he will make the roster, and they'll kind of mold him into something if that's the case. So they'll bring in more guys probably during camp, or they'll add somebody. Who knows? There's 4 open roster spots right now, so you never know what could happen.
And I feel like he earned it too. I do think he earned it this year. He went through Stalin University for a year last year, so he kind of earned it. When he came in and played, if people don't realize, there's a lot of linemen that played over the last couple of years. When our big guys went out for plays and series and stuff, that we didn't even skip a beat, man. We just kept rolling. So everybody we got in that room right now, I'm not really too worried about. My boy Grant says, ask Joey why he loves Halloween series. And is it true? What that is his true passion, all about horror and gore movies.
Yeah, that's another Yeah, I love it. I go to conventions. I don't record anything. I don't put any videos up because I'm just not putting videos up of that. But not record, not unveiling any of that. But I have another channel. I cover a whole bunch of stuff. I just started up a little bit more again. It's just hard to cover 2 channels right now, but it's my other passion I do.
Which one's your favorite?
Me, I
top 5 movies, Shakes.
Friday the 13th is probably like my favorite. The originals, like the 2009 film. you know, they have a new show coming out next year. You know, there was a big like legal battle, of the rights and stuff for the character, and that's why we haven't seen anything for since 2009 for years. You know, so yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of Texas Chainsaw. I mean,
I love
everything.
those Texas Chainsaw
Oh
Massacre.
yeah, I'm always posting shit, so I'm always posting stuff all day.
Yeah, man. What about did you like that Freddy versus Jason movie that came out?
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. I mean, it was. I wish it was more like serious. It was like a comedy at one point. I mean, kills were great, you know, but you know, I mean, I liked it. It was fine. You know,
Neither
what I
one of
mean?
them really died.
Huh?
So neither one of them really died. Like,
Yeah,
Jason
they
always
didn't
come
die.
back, man. You ain't stopping him. Even the last, I've noticed you haven't seen too much of them, but you've watched lately. It's been a lot more of the Michael Myers. You know, they've had like what 2 or 3 movies over the last couple of years here. Halloween.
Yeah, 3 movies. Yeah,
Yeah, you
really
like
good.
that one. Yeah, Michael Myers is cool too, but he reminds me of Jason.
You watch Terrifier?
Well, I never seen that one.
You gotta watch Terrifier.
See, I be like in like movie like Hills Have Eyes, and then there's this other movie that I really like too. I watched all the Screams, but I think only the original Scream was good.
I hate Scream.
You like the original one?
I hate.
All of them
I hate.
with a passion.
I don't like it because it's like every movie. It's like I feel like I'm watching the same. I mean, not the same thing, but I can't stand how like every movie it's a different killer and it's just a guy in a costume or whoever. I don't know. I'm just not a. I'm not a big Scream fanatic. I'm just not. I watch
the Saw movies,
huh?
Like the Saw movies.
Oh, love Saw. Love Saw.
I love Saw too. Saw is one of my favorites. And then what's the other one? Oh yeah, Pet Sematary. Did you like Pet Sematary?
I like the original better than any of the other. Yeah, I like the original. I love the first one.
Yeah, I like scary movies at nighttime. That's
Oh yeah,
I watch them. I watch them all the time at night, man. Mr. Burger.
I'm actually going in November, October. I forgot when I'm going. I got tickets, but I'm going to the actual Camp Crystal Lake, like the actual like camp from the first film, like a tour thing. I'm doing in October, November. I forgot when I'm doing it. But
the real Crystal Lake,
huh?
To the real Crystal Lake.
Real Crystal Lake, where they filmed the first film.
Hell yeah,
It's in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey.
It is.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, then let's do this. If Jalen Hurts was a horror movie star, who would he be?
Oh man, horror movie star. As a slasher, he'd be or something.
Slasher. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I never been asked a question like that, so it's really out of the box.
I was like, let's think about that. Like, after you love them, like I know you got rankings probably of who you think is the best. And it's like, how would you put a Jalen Hurts if you had to rank him as a slasher, like in a movie?
Yeah,
like, Jalen would probably have to be either
Candyman.
Candyman.
Candyman is great.
I like it.
Of course.
I like it.
Be my victim. Yeah, I don't know.
I would say probably
Candyman's great.
He'd probably be, because he talks to. He's not that side. I would say he would probably be Jason because he's gonna always keep coming back. But maybe
might be perfect to be honest, because he's a man of a few words, and he just like he comes in for the kill when you don't realize it.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna leave it.
That's a good one, Boots. That's a great one. I didn't even. Yeah.
What about AJ Brown? He got on defense. That's where you got terror. Jalen Carter.
Yeah, Jalen Carter would be like. Oh man, Carter could be like. I could think of like.
Right now, since he's not really talking that much, he could be Jason.
Yeah, maybe.
He's a silent assassin. You watch a lot of these movies. How is it the fact that Jason doesn't ever have to run?
The what?
Does he time travel? Because Jason never runs, man, but he always catches people.
He in the 2009 movie he ran. Other movies he just appears. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, he's got time. He's got like a fast travel thing. You just don't see it. That's how it is.
Nice. Say, I got a couple questions for you. You've been following Philadelphia sports for a while. I picked out a couple questions here, and chat. You guys can answer them, help them out, whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna ask you a couple of these questions. It says first question would be, for what team did Randall Cunningham's brother Sam the Bam Cunningham play 9 years at fullback with?
Oh, I have no fucking idea. Where'd you get these from? Because I guarantee you, if it's that deep, I'm probably. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna know nothing from that. Probably nothing.
I'll give you an easier one because that's Randall's. If it was a Randall Cunningham question, that'd been fair. But the answer of that one was the Patriots.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, defensive lineman that returned a 98-yard fumble for a touchdown in 2006 game against the Niners.
Oh shit.
His number was I believe it was number 98. As a tip.
I remember that shit. I just forgot who the fuck it was. Damn.
Chat, help him out.
Yeah, who is it? Because
do you guys know what?
I remember that.
The lineman returned a 98-yard touchdown, fumble recovery for a touchdown 2006 game against the San Francisco 49ers. Who got the answer, Chad? Y'all go ahead and pop it in the chat. And I'll give you a minute, and then I'll let you guys know.
They probably don't know either.
You don't think so?
Maybe.
Grant usually knows everything.
I'm waiting. I don't see no one saying.
I don't see no one putting nothing.
They're going on Google.
You guys don't even want to Google. I'm going to give you the answer then. It is Mike Patterson.
Oh. Remember
Mike Patterson? He's like, no clue. Is that too old for you guys? 2006? Let's see if we can get
it's hard for me to think back that long ago, and that's a
while.
What
about 2002?
God.
It said, what 6'3" Eagles receivers led the team with 60 catches, 7 touchdowns in 2002? Oh, he was a fan favorite, I guess. Yeah.
We
didn't even have no real good receivers, so it's like he was the guy in 2002.
No.
Was it Macklin? That was a good guess. It wasn't Macklin, though.
What's his name?
I'll say this, and this probably give you a clue. He was skinny. Really skinny.
Not Avant, right?
No, because he was 6'3". 6'3", really skinny. Receiver 2002 with 60 catches and 7 touchdowns.
Pinkston, no.
I remember my passing being from USC. Yep, another USC Trojan, baby. I'm a Trojan.
Benny Logan.
That was a good guess. Benny Logan was a dog. Boom, 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 boom. Greg has the right answer.
Pinkston, okay.
Todd Pinkston. You remember Todd Pinkston?
Yeah, I do. He did like the belt thing, I remember, a long time ago.
Yeah.
I forgot what game that was.
What game? Are you going to go to any games this year, Shakes?
The home opener, I would like. I might. I don't know yet. I got tickets offered to me already. I'm just kind of waiting to see like what I'm going to do. Because I went to the because really like this year the schedule, like there's only like what 2 or 3 1 o'clock games. There's like, I mean, we're going to be in prime time probably 6 times this year. I mean, it's crazy, and most of our games are going to be like 4:30. You know, like in that time limit.
Is there a game that you're looking at you want to watch most? And what is your game on the calendar that you like? That game I have to be. I mean, I for sure.
Yeah, I obviously want the rematch of the Super Bowl, obviously, but I'm actually pretty excited for, you know, other than like divisional stuff. Like I'm actually excited for going to Miami Dolphins on Sunday night. I think that's going to be a really good. That's going to be a really good storyline of like Tua versus Hurts. Like it's going to be a really good storyline. Like,
Tua versus Hurts, Waddle versus Devontae, because I was a Waddle guy, man. I wanted Waddle more.
Yeah, oh, yeah, same.
I wanted Waddle more, but I love Devontae too. I love Devontae. They're both great receivers. But yeah, to see that Tyreek Hill, how good is Bradbury and Slay gonna be against those boys that day? That's gonna be hard. And it's two of them be healthy. You know, like one more question, he need to retire. You know, he's getting hit too much. You know, like some people body can't handle that kind of stuff. And it seems like, you know, that was scary seeing what happened to him on that football field. You know, that was really scary. So, but I hope it's a battle, man. Like you said, Jalen get the opportunity to go against Tua and beat him in prime time. That would be legit. That'd be legit.
Yeah, that's going to be a good storyline. There's no doubt.
Mine definitely is the Super Bowl rematch. I am just so sick of us not beating Reed yet. You know, he's been gone for a long time now, and we never beat him.
Yeah,
we need to get off that over train with Reed. And everybody's like, "Well, you don't want him to do it in the season. How about in the Super Bowl next year?" I'm like, that'd be cool too. But I would rather take the season win against Andy Reid to finally beat him, and then I'll root for them not to make the Super Bowl, so you don't have to play them twice.
Oh no, yeah.
Like, you know,
I think another one. Obviously, the other one we're definitely gonna like be excited for, or gonna want a win on that is gonna be against the 49ers at home too. It's gonna be another.
Oh yeah, for running their lip all off season talking about. We didn't have a quarterback. Yeah, you did. You had three that got hurt, man. Come on. Face the facts, man. You had quarterbacks. Brock Purdy wasn't hurt before he came to the game.
See, like the Cowboy fans, even the year before, were like talking about the 49er fans, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, you know, and the players, and like we didn't realize until after we played that game, man. Oh my God. I mean, I thought the Vikings fans are bad. I thought Saints fans were bad. That fan base is like, and those players, man. I mean, if our quarterback ended up getting, you know, hurt in a game and like we lost because of that, like it is what it is. Like you physically got beat. And it's not even on the quarterback. It's on whoever.
It happened last year twice. Gardner gave up both of those games we lost. Like I told everybody, we could have been 17-0 last year. You know, I always start off season 17-0 to proven otherwise. Then 16-1.
It's unrealistic, dude. It's unrealistic.
It's unrealistic, but it's happened. So why not see it again?
It's too much pressure, man. I feel like they needed to lose a game because if you at least they were on the reset mode, they could breathe again. I feel like when you know, it'd be great, it'd be nice, but you know, it's just one of those things where like you get too much pressure on you. I feel like there was just way too much pressure on them. And they lost because they got screwed more than they lost that game because you know Goddard got the face mask, and then. I mean, 2 good passes for first downs. He would have won that game. I mean, there's no doubt. And then obviously the Quez fumble. Like he just got up, he got the reception in open space, didn't get touched. He got back up, and he wasn't. I mean, come on now. Like you're getting back up off the ground. You're not even protecting the football. I mean, come on now. I understand like your mind's running. You want to go into the end zone, but he's got to be smarter than that. So I don't put that on Jalen Hurts at all. I put that on like really the refs, one and Quez Watkins too. 2 opportunities.
All of our games last year is like things had to really not go our way. Like it wasn't like a team ever really manhandled us and like destroyed it. They're always like things didn't go our way the right way, and you know we got beat. You know, like but we could look at the game like we should have won that game. Like that was our game to win, and we lost another one. So yeah, I thought our team's that dominated. Even when people talk about the schedule being hard, I don't really think it's that much harder. You know, like it might have more wins on our schedule, you know, a team that had more wins, but at the end of the day, like teams aren't on our level, man. I don't see, you know, that many teams in the NFL right now as a whole that's as complete as our football team with players at high levels like that. You know, we have the second best quarterback in the league. You know, we got the best receiving tandem in the league. We got, you know, the best offensive line in the league, the best defensive line in the league, the best cornerback tandem in the league. You know, it's like, come on, like teams aren't really built like that, you know, around the NFL right now.
Oh, there's no excuse this year. Like it's a tougher schedule this year, no doubt. But like I feel like they have the roster to get it done. Now we got to see what we have in training camp and see like, you know, this defensive coordinator to see like what's going on with him. And you know, everything was great. What he said at the press conference was great, but you know, I got to see it. You know, I can't.
What do you think he's gonna do? You think he's gonna run a lot more 5-2? Kind of like we did last year, 4-4. You got the linebackers to do it. What do you think? would be the smartest thing for him to come and do. Just keep it mixed. You know,
No, I think you're gonna do almost what Gannon was supposed to do. I think you're gonna disguise coverages. I think you're gonna hide some things and exploit some things. But he's lined up a defensive end and a linebacker on the edge. He's moved guys around. Like he's done a lot of different things. Like even, it can't get any worse than last year. We were winning last year, but we were seeing that every time we had our foot on somebody's neck, we used to take our foot off, and these teams started breathing again during games, and not fair to our offense. Like you're going to sit back and you're going to let these teams kick field goals, and they're going to put points on the board, and you're putting too much pressure on our offense. And you're running, every time if Gannon, ran a stunt, we always got a sack. We always got to the court. Every time he did something, clever, it worked. But that defense last year could have been so much more historic. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Like,
and that's crazy because it was like the best defense we ever had.
Yeah. Yeah. If we had somewhat of a brain and coaching on the defensive side of the ball, like, yeah, it would have made a total difference. But
then we get the sack record this year.
No, I don't. No. I don't, and it's not because it's a bad thing. I feel like there's a lot of things that go into it. Like I mean, maybe it could happen. I don't think they do it because I feel like there's going to be other things that happen in games. Like it could be turnovers. It could be, it just depends, but
hard to run it back like that, like back to back, that many sacks.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Been done, really.
But just because of that, it doesn't mean they're not going to be a good team. Or if they don't hit that, goal, they're not going to be a good team at all. It's just, every game's just, every game's different. I mean, you got like what 11? What did you get? Like 11? How many sacks did they get on Carson Wentz in one game? What was it? Like what was it 11?
Yeah, 11? Ridiculous number. Yeah, we hit him like every down. It felt like so. Yeah. Carson, man, do you feel bad about Carson Wentz's career?
I don't feel bad for him at all. I don't.
No.
You know how? Don't ask me that question. I've done enough videos on that sorry excuse of a fucking man that I've ever. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
The times I had to talk about him when he was with the Colts was only because of that fucking first round of that second round pick that could convert into a first rounder of how many snaps. I used to make updated videos on it every single day on like a chart and like fucking. A bunch of stuff, you know what I mean? So that's the only way I was making. I mean, he was gifted two really good offenses. He was gifted no competition, no nothing. He was one team was on a silver platter, one team was on a gold platter. Like he was given two good. I mean, especially when he went to Washington. I mean, they have good players on that offense. Yeah. They just have no fucking quarterback, and they don't even know who owns the team yet. So it's just like so much stuff going on over there.
Is there a jersey you're looking to buy this year? Any jersey, any player?
I don't know, man. It's tough. I might if it comes to the Kelly Greens this year, I might get Devontae Smith. I mean, I might cop a Agent Zero jersey, maybe.
I want one of those. I think that looks so sick.
I know. It's exciting, dude. It's exciting. I can't wait to see what they look like.
You think Hassan Reddick gets 20 sacks this year?
Yes, I think he could have had almost 30 sacks last year. I mean, how many times he was put into coverage earlier in the season? I mean, it was ridiculous. I think he can get close to 30 sacks this year. No joke. Yeah. I mean, no player gets, three different teams and you get, 3.5, you get double-digit sacks and with three different teams. I think it's the third or fourth player to do that. I mean, that's tough. Like new teammates every year, you know what I mean? Like that's not easy to do. But Eagles had 4 defensive line with double-digit sacks this year. You know what I mean? So now you got to kind of replicate or try to, with Hargrave gone now. And I think the biggest loss really was Hargrave, but really depends what Jordan Davis does, because I think Jordan Davis is the most important piece to your defensive line because he commands the double teams. He helps the guy on the outside. He is the most important player on your defensive line. And Carter, I think Carter can have a 9.5 sack season this year. If you think
they're going to be better, Carter or Davis this year? Do you think they're going to just keep him in that Davis in that position where he's eating up blocks, or do you think we're going to actually finally get to see that athleticism, that skill come out, what we hope he can do, and he actually become a monster? Because I think he has a chance to be like the best DT in the game. Because remember Warren Sapp, like the ones that freaks of nature in terms of athletics and size. be able to go out there and get all those sacks all them years. And I think people are really underestimating him, thinking that he's just going to be. I think his floor is double team, triple team. Like you got to do that because he's a huge guy. Like he's 6'8", 340 pounds of rip. You know, like you got to double team regardless because most linemen aren't that strong. So that's just a given.
Well,
but in terms of like his ceiling, I think he can be a double-digit sack guy myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Davis is going to have the numbers. I don't think he's going to stick out statistically. I mean, even before he got that high ankle sprain last year, he was like the top. He was like I think he was ranked I think he was top 13 against the run last year. He was playing really good. You know, the numbers aren't going to stick out. Obviously, I mean, if offensive lines want to pick their poison and say, "Oh, let's just double team Jalen Carter," then they're going to have a bigger problem with Jordan Davis one-on-one. I mean, it's just going to help all around. You know, regardless. So
Carter and Davis starting. And Fletch come out the bench. How do you see that rotation?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I want that to happen. I mean, I don't think Nolan Smith is going to start in the rotation. I feel like it's going to be Reddick and it's going to be Graham, and then it's going to be Sweat and Nolan Smith, and then it's going to be Barnett, and that's why I feel like they need to get another defense. That's why I think Yannick Ngakoue needs to come to Philadelphia. Like I think they need to add. No, I'm not kidding. I mean, why not? They added. Jordan Davis got hurt. They added 2 of them. So I mean, at this point, like, you know, I think with Yannick Ngakoue, even when he left remember a few years ago when he left the Jags on that tag and he was posting Philly cheesesteaks on Twitter and fucking Trent Cole and Reggie White. He was posting all this stuff. He wanted to play for the Eagles so badly. I mean, that defensive line is nothing compared to this defensive. This defensive line is way better now. So I feel like, you know, getting another pass rusher, why not? I mean, as a depth guy, Yannick Ngakoue is averaging 7 to 9.5 sacks a season. So what? Sign him to a 2-year deal. Give him a home for a couple of years. I mean, why not? I'd be down for it. The more, the merrier. So
yeah, more pass rushers you got definitely. Which school has the better players? No more impactful players coming into this year, Georgia or Alabama? And we're counting Jalen Hurts as Alabama. So you got Hurts, Devontae, you know, Landon Dickerson, Steen versus, you know, I even throw Swift over there. Swift, Nolan, Dean, Jordan.
You got the Alabama offense, and you got the Georgia defense. That's what
which one's more important to this season? And which one's going to have a bigger
I think your offense is because you got to get points on the board. I think you got to have a high explosive offense. That's you need that. It's defenses, you know, can win games, you know, but it's more of an offensive league. It's a passing league. You got to get points on the board at the end of the day. Like if you have an offense and get on the field, regardless if your defense, you know, struggles or not, you know, getting points on the board is going to make the difference. And how does your offense react? You know, that's what's going to happen. I think you could put 35 plus points on the board with this offense, maybe even more. You know,
it's a good debate, but I think once you just say Jalen Hurts, Alabama's debate's over. It's like he's the biggest piece of our team.
It's definitely done.
Oh man, but I'm looking for these Georgia boys to do their thing. And I think that we're probably even all underestimating what the impact that they're going to have. Like that family culture thing that they have over there in Georgia is that I think just having that many of them. You know, some teams get lucky with 1 or 2 players that started on a good defense, you know, in the same team.
Right.
But to have like 5, you know, then you got an offense too. Man, these guys are going to really thrive off each other, and they're going to go out there and they're going to wreck games. Man, they're going to be trying to see, you know, who's going to really have the biggest impact. Because, you know, I think I'm really high on Nolan Smith. I think out of those guys, I think Nolan's probably going to have the biggest impact year one. Just because, like, we can set him up with so many different things. He can rush the passer. You know, he's not going to be getting double teamed at all. He's always going to be coming on free rushes, one-on-one, you know, all the time. No one's going to double team him when he's on that football field.
He hasn't taken any time off this offseason. He went to Von Miller's camp, and then he's doing all these workouts with these other players, some of these rookies, some other guys coming in. So, I mean, he hasn't taken any days off, man. Like, I mean, it's a different culture in Georgia. You know, you just won a national championship. That's a championship mindset over there. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I feel like I was so happy. Like I wasn't expecting them to get 2 defensive linemen in the first round. I mean, I would never, maybe 1, I wouldn't expect that they were going to double down defensive line in the first round, but you know, really not making any moves. I think once Jalen Carter got past Seattle at 5, I thought it was very realistic. Because he wasn't taking interviews out of the top 10, and he was only, you know, I thought really the Seattle and the Bears were like the 2 teams like we had to look out for, but it seemed like they didn't want him. But I think that moment when he got drafted here, you know, he was emotional, he was crying. obviously when you get drafted, it's life changing. But for him, I think it was more life changing because it was with the Philadelphia Eagles, because he's with his mentor in Jordan Davis, because he's with Nakobe Dean, and obviously, he didn't know Nolan Smith was here at the time, but obviously, now he does. So I think it was more special for him. I think, I didn't take the off-field stuff too seriously like a lot of people were. And trust me, I had comments that were like, I support this and all this political bullshit. His pro day, he didn't work. He didn't do any of the drills at the combine. He had not a great pro day. And he had a really filled off season with, a lot of stuff going on. So I think this is the perfect place for him, and I think he'll be in check, and I think this is the perfect place. So
got two more before I let you go, Shakes.
Mm-hmm.
One is going to be, is Landon Dickerson the best offensive lineman on this line now? He's in his third year now, and he was all-pro last year, Pro Bowler. Is he the best? They showed he was he's number one in run blocking win rate for guards, and he's number two in run blocking win rate for pass blocking. Pass blocking win rate for guards. So, has he took the throne from Lane and Kelsey?
Yeah, I think it's tough. It's really tough because even having Dickerson as my third best is still very good because everyone else is that good. But obviously, I got to put the vets in front of him like Kelsey and Lane Johnson before anything. So he'd probably be my third. They're all good. They're all in the same realm.
See a lot of. I'm just saying in terms of play, Kelsey's still good. Obviously, it's still the best center in the game. But in terms of he's getting older. Lane's never given up a sack. It's hard really to say. Right. Anybody but Lane for the last 3 years or something like that. So Lane's that dude. I just feel like Landon's impact too on our football team, and to do what he's done so far is pretty amazing. Those other guys, Kelsey, took a while before they gave him recognition of being great. Lane Johnson took a minute because he was converting from a tight end over, to be considered great. But I feel like Landon's got it pretty fast. You know what I'm saying? That dude got it. He's the man.
Oh yeah, if you're talking about fast productivity, Dickerson would definitely be probably the highest on the list. Mulata too. Mulata has come a long way. A 7th round pick out of rugby, never played football, and really Stoutland molded him to be what he is. So from that standpoint of fast productivity, Dickerson is definitely the on the top on that offensive line. There's no doubt. So,
did you watch Undisputed at all?
No.
No, you didn't watch that at all with Skip and Shannon.
I watch it sometimes. I haven't watched recently. No.
They said that Shady McCoy's looking to be the next host on there. How awesome would that be to finally get
that'd be great. One of our own on the show. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. It'd be great.
Show like that, man. Big show like that. Yeah, I like that. I like Shannon Sharp too. I think he's gonna be fine to have his own. She already got his club, Shay. I like watching that sometimes. So he's doing his thing. But I think it's crazy when you see how that over the last year you see it break down like that, and they actually stop making it. Kind of crazy, but I thought they were really good together. And I worry. I just hope that Skip's a big Cowboy fan. If Shady's a big Eagle fan, I think that makes for at least.
Is he the top candidate? Is he the top candidate for the show right now?
Yeah, they were doing everybody from that show that Shady's on right now. What's it called? The Break or something like that. It's him, Joy Taylor.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but I've watched it. Yeah,
but that show, it's pretty much all of them. They want one of them, but I think Skip. They said Skip handpicked him. Said it'd be good to have him on the show.
Yeah,
because he's an Eagle. You know what I'm saying?
And Shady don't back down. He'll be good entertainment. It's entertainment, dude. They're not gonna get a guy that's boring. They want to get a guy that's gonna fight back a little bit. That's what they're gonna get. So if it's him, then he will definitely fit very well on that show. There's no doubt he will.
And thanks again, Shakes, for coming by, man. It's always a pleasure working with you. Give Eagles Nation your last all-season message. I have everybody tell them what to expect this year from this football team.
Be patient and, because everyone's going to freak out, during training camp if Hurts makes a bad pass or they pick him off. Take it day by day. Don't go off the deep end. Enjoy it, and just enjoy. We have to mold this thing into what it is to see what we have on the back end of our rosters. So, just take your time every day. Don't go crazy. I mean, just don't go over your head. That's all about things.
Way too early record prediction.
13 wins.
13. So you too, man. If I keep saying a game,
13 is a neutral number. It's a high number, but I said 13 last year. I said 13 and they won the game more. So I'm not going to say undefeated, bro. I'm not doing.
I don't say I might. It's, as a fan, you should always want your team to win every game. And we got the team to win every game. So I always go 17-0 until proven otherwise. So, when we lose a game, it's 16-1 until proven otherwise. It goes on like that.
Yeah.
My real opinion, I think we win one more game than we did last year. And we go 15-2. I think it's not too unrealistic. There's always that game because there's always that game in the division. Whoever's the shittiest team in our division always beat us. Or whoever, like if the Eagles or Cowboys number one, whoever that shitty team is, always seem to beat them in the series at least once. So like last year, Washington beat us in the series, and they're not even close to being as good as we are. So it's like I feel like we're gonna get one of those division losses to who, and then maybe one of that little stretch of games we got. We don't win all of them. We might lose one, slip up one there too as well. So I got 15-2, baby. Hurts only lost one game last year. I'm looking for him to be healthy all season. So. One you can put on Hurts, the other one you can put on the defense, maybe the defense.
It's very realistic. It's very realistic. It's anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like I said 13 and I thought I was being way too much, but I looked at the roster and I was like, if the coaching's good, we could pop off real good. And look where it brought us. Yeah. So,
well, thanks again, my guy. You gotta hit that like, hit that subscribe, go. Sub up my boy JOEYSHAKES if you have not subbed him up, which I know all you guys have. He's a goat. And keep a wishful mind to know that this team is not the same team as last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not at all the same team, but we will be better. I feel that we will be better. We're going to be a better football team. You're going to see it. It's going to be glaring. I really don't feel like these teams really are on our level. I think we're the number one team in the NFL. So I got high hopes for these birds, and I can't wait till the pass come on, man. I can't wait till the pass come on so we can start seeing these guys hit each other, and then you can get a real sense of what kind of team the Eagles will be bringing out this year. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Fly, Eagles, fly. Till next time, this BG Shakes. We out.
Peace.